AITA for wanting more help with my child after my surgery. I am not the original poster. Originally posted in r. Am I the Asshole by you, external, ad. 7876. AITA for wanting more help with my child after my surgery. The 21st of June 2023. I, 24F, had a baby about 8 weeks ago. It was a difficult pregnancy and I had to be induced at 37 weeks due to medical complications. I had to get stitches and the recovery was really rough. 4 days ago I was feeling really awful, so I asked my husband, 26M, to take me to the hospital. Turns out I had gallstones and needed to get my gallbladder removed, which happened 2 days ago. Yesterday I was discharged from the hospital, and while the doctor did say I should walk around, I don't think I should be 100% back to doing everything I was before the surgery. I asked my husband for just a little extra help with our child. I said I don't mind holding her in my lap for feedings, but diaper changes and anything involving carrying the baby from room to room I'm uncomfortable with, at least the first day or two being back home. He got upset because the doctor said I should be fine. We got into a big argument after I explained that this is my second major medical procedure in the last 2 months and I didn't say I wasn't doing anything. I just needed a little extra help. This morning, my Mill, who I usually get along great with, stopped me on my way to the bathroom to tell me I shouldn't be asking for extra help. That I have a child now and it doesn't matter what healing I'm doing because the baby comes first. Again, I said I wasn't asking for anyone to take over for the baby completely. I was just uncomfortable carrying the baby from room to room since she is pretty big now and kicks right where the incisions are. I thought it was reasonable since I literally just came home from the hospital the evening before. I thought my points were valid, but now that 2 people in my family have said the same thing, I'm not sure if I'm tall or not. I'm just in a lot of pain and I need a little more rest than usual. Not to mention my painkillers have been putting me to sleep for hours. AITA? Edit. Trying to add this answer in my update, but it isn't posting for whatever reason, so I'll leave it here. Both my husband and Mill previously had been super helpful with the baby. My husband has never seen helping out as babysitting or only my job, and my Mill has also helped a lot by watching my child so I can take naps or run errands. I'm not sure why they blew up when I asked for just a bit of extra help. Wanted to clarify they had been very helpful up until this point. As far as the living situation is, we are temporarily staying with my Mill. She had broken her back and our lease for our apartment was up, so we decided to move in to help her heal and also use that time to save money for a down payment on a house. Unfortunately, this was right before the housing in our area blew up in prices, so it's been hard to find anything. What was only supposed to last about 612 months will be 2 years in November. A big part of both of their arguments was that my Mill had her gallbladder removed a few years ago, and she went right back to normal as soon as she left the hospital since she's the main caretaker for her mother. She's also broken her back twice while taking care of her parents and still went right back to it as soon as she left the hospital. Then she compared me recovering to a story of her killing a tarantula outside before her kids came home from school. Yes, it could bite her and maybe even kill her, but her kids are worth it. And that's how I needed to see recovering from surgery as verdict, not the asshole. Relevant comments. Comment. NTA: the unwillingness from both your DH and Mill to recognize you need to recover from a surgery you had 2 days ago is staggering. Your Mill seems to subscribe to that old-fashioned thinking that parenting is a woman's job. Men just help babysit. She disregarded your discomfort and, indirectly, suggested you're a bad parent for needing to heal from a literal organ removal. The thing is, Your mill stopping you on your way to the bathroom in the morning at your own home clearly shows your husband ran to her and told her you were being unreasonable. Then she chose to scold you instead of helping. This requires a long talk regarding boundaries. Is there anyone from your side of the family willing to give you a hand for a couple of days? Or will DH and Mill finally decide to help you after you pop a stitch or two? Comment. NTA. Honestly, having my gallbladder removed was the most painful recovery of my life, and I've had a hysterectomy, breast reduction, eye surgery, etc. It took me a week just to walk around normally. I cannot imagine carrying a baby around. 2. You need to find an advocate before you end up with postpartum depression. Your doctor is apparently a misogynist. Update. AITA for wanting more help with my child after my surgery. The 30th of June 2023. First off, I wanted to thank everyone for their input. I was feeling kinda bad for being upset over this, but this made me feel like me feelings were justified. I do want to clear a couple things up. First off, I totally get why some people thought in this instance my husband was seeing helping with his child as babysitting. Usually he's all for putting in 50-50 with our child. He stays up late, fixes bottles, changes diapers, etc. He's usually a very doting and loving father, which is why his comment threw me off so much. And my mill has also helped a lot by watching my child so I can take naps or run errands. Again, which is why I was so thrown off by her comment. A lot of people asked about our living situation. We are temporarily staying with my mill while saving for a down payment on a home. She stays at home and has offered to take care of the baby when I go back to work. There wasn't really anywhere else I could stay, as others suggested either. My family has also been treating the surgery as no big deal and expected that I would have no problem with the baby. And even when they offered to come help for the day, they all backed out last minute, so I was feeling very on my own. As far as the aftermath, my husband and Mill both apologized for what they said. Everyone was exhausted from the 4 days I was in the hospital. My husband wasn't sleeping while at the hospital, and my baby was apparently very fussy since it was the longest time she was away from me since giving birth to her, so Mill had no sleep either, and everyone was just frustrated with the entire situation. I guess they both just said the first thing that came into their heads with no sleep after I asked for help. I was honestly relieved because neither of them have ever acted like that before, and it was completely out of nowhere. Everything has been good now. I am still healing, but my husband and Mill have been a huge help with the baby. I go back to work in about 2 weeks, and I'm trying to get as much rest as possible beforehand as well. Relevant comment. I'm glad to hear you are being more supported now, regardless of the explanation for their earlier response to your request for help. Did they acknowledge that their expectations were completely unrealistic and, in fact, cruel to expect of anyone? Because saying things in the heat of a tired and overwrought moment is one thing, but the basis of what is said, their belief that a mother's love for her child should be able to transcend physical inability, and that your feelings and needs don't matter, is really alarming. If they truly carry those beliefs and just usually hide it better, then it could mean bad things for the future. Taking it to an extreme. If you were diabetic and having a hypoglycemic event, would they tell you to suck it up and delay treating yourself if the baby was crying? Would they tell you that severe depression should be ignored until it was convenient for them to support you in getting treatment because the baby needed something? Oop. My husband acknowledged that he was in the wrong and did not realize how much actual pain I was in. My Mill didn't, but we are both a bit awkward with big emotions toward each other, so I know she genuinely meant it. Reminder. I am not the original poster. Originally posted in r. Am I the Asshole by you, external, ad. 7876. Do not comment on original posts. God, U.S. maternity leave is a crime. Yay, she was absolutely in the right. My aunt just had gallstones removed and she can't do anything RN. I've been helping around the house when she asked BC it's surgery like. It's not just slap a band-aid on it and you're good, you need recovery time. Completely unrelated, but a tarantula isn't dangerous to humans. I wonder why the mill keeps breaking her back. She seems to treat her body well. All of the women in my mom's family have had their gallbladders out after giving birth. Some immediate, some it took a few years. The first few flare-ups my mom had terrified my dad so much. I don't understand these people. I am never having a baby with anyone because I feel like my biggest nightmare would be realizing that I got into an 18-year-long commitment with an asshat. I had to go back and check the dates these were posted because this exact situation happened about 6 years ago with one of my friends. She had their first child, a daughter, and her gallbladder had to be removed very soon after. Her husband was being no help. I'm glad this story ends happier than hers did. My friend's husband got her pregnant a second time a few years. But he was cheating on her with someone much younger the whole time and left her literally within days of their son being born. It really baffles me the amount of times men get irritated when they are asked to do extra help or nurse their wives. I mean, wasn't there a study that says men are twice as likely to divorce their terminally ill wife? And men oftentimes cheat more when their wife is pregnant? I mean, Oop just had surgery 2 days ago. Even if the doctor says she is fine, I am literally questioning the doctor here. She still needs to recover. Child caring is very exhausting. Men who snap so easily don't even realize that there are women who all the childbearing and caring without even questioning. I am seeing now why women initiate more divorces. I had a minor laparoscopic surgery 3 weeks ago. Nothing like a full organ removal. And I'm still on a 10 pounds lifting restriction. It feels like major overkill by now. But my point is, her doctor probably has her on something similar and she's not supposed to be carrying a baby. And I bet it matters a lot more for her than it does for me. I totally get that everyone was stressed and sleep deprived and out of their minds, but that's still a hurtful and unfair reaction. That poor tarantula, murdered needlessly. Her husband may have said the first thing that came to mind, but her mill went out of her way to say what she said. A pulled-aside conversation is not an accident. Mill is just rude emo. He knows helping with the kids isn't babysitting. Nope, still not right. Taking care of his children is not babysitting, but it's not helping either. Which implies it is, by default, his wife's responsibility. I'm glad this worked out in the end for Oop. But I just want to mention that gallbladder surgery is no joke. My mom got her gallbladder removed and compared the recovery to the C-section she had 30 years ago. Yeah, it seems like relatively minor surgery, but it affects your ab and core muscles, so literally moving at all, even just sitting up or rolling over, is really difficult and painful. I nearly left my partner when he only took 2 days off work for my gallbladder surgery. I asked him for a week. He had plenty of holiday to take. We're in the UK. He gets 35 days a year. And he decided genuinely. He said this, that I'd probably be fine. So just took 2. Surgery day and 1 day after. I didn't last long solo parenting a baby. 3 yo and 5 yo. A friend came over for a few hours. And the next day my mother tagged in and let me rest. It was excruciating. I don't think he knows how close I came to calling it. My first thought was that they possibly took her as asking for extra help, as implying they don't do enough. Which with tired minds is an easy conclusion to jump to. I've broken bones, been beat badly, had kidney stones, and have even been stabbed once. Gallstones were the worst pain I've ever felt. I woke up and thought I was dying. When I talked to my boss at the time about it later, he said that his wife had told him that the stones were worse than her childbirth. If she had that happen 2 days after birth, then she deserves all of the help. As a surgical nurse who also has had surgery, I'm pissed off at that surgeon. Even if she had her gallbladder removed laparoscopically, she should be on lifting restrictions of no greater than 10 pounds for 6 weeks to prevent internal hemorrhaging of incision sites and stapled areas. The walking around and moving bit, though, is important. You don't want to lay around after surgery. It delays healing. Just don't lift for a bit, and that includes baby. I had a minor surgery a few months ago, but I had to be put to sleep under anesthesia. My husband took the day of the surgery and the day after off from work just to make sure I was okay. He wouldn't let me do anything because he wanted me to just rest and be okay. Even though I felt fine. I can't imagine the lack of compassion and love that people choose to show to their spouses. 2 surgeries in 2 months, and she couldn't get just a smidge of empathy? The husband may have been too hasty with his response, and in the frustration of the moment, but he then went and tattled to his mommy, who definitely wasn't just answering off the cuff, because she says that to oop after her misunderstanding with her husband. Sue being sleep deprived is tiring? And so is being 24 hours a day with the baby? Those experiences should have helped husband and Mill see how hard it all actually is for oop. Adding to that the postpartum storms of hormones and gallstones. These 2 people are complete assholes, and oop seems to think her husband is a great father because he does the 50-50 care of the baby. He should be able to do 100% if necessary. As for the Mill, maybe if she hadn't gone right back to normal life after major surgeries, she wouldn't have broken her back twice. I had to get my gallbladder removed back in 2019. I was a perfectly healthy woman without even having given birth, and I still took a whole week to even get around normally without any help. I literally needed my mother to help me get out of bed and hobble me to the bathroom. I couldn't even stand up all the way because it just hurt. I can't imagine trying to carry a baby while doing all of that.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.